Nandakumar sir, who will be delivering the welcome address.
Very good morning to all the participants who have gathered here for the webinar, PharmaEdge Webinar on the evolving role of pharmacist in healthcare, essential skills for a successful career. First of all, I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Manjula Devi Madam. Thank you, Madam, for accepting our invitation. At the outset, I would like to thank our management for their rendering support in all our aspects, in every endeavor that we take up, and for all these kind of new efforts that we take, like webinars, workshops, or kind of conferences that we do. Our management has been supporting us quite, strongly, and that's why we were able to do all these programs without much, difficulty. So, with that note, I would like to give my regards to our principal sir, who had been instrumental in conducting all these webinars as well as all the programs that we undertake. So, coming to today's topic, pharmacist has always been an essential part to healthcare. Traditionally, we have served as an expert in medication management and ensuring patients receive the correct prescriptions and the medications. However, now the role of pharmacists have evolved dramatically, and today pharmacists are increasingly becoming the integral members of healthcare, and they directly contribute to the patient care through a variety of responsibilities. Probably in this webinar today, Madam will be exploring how the pharmacists are moving beyond the dispensary to become a vital players in the healthcare system. So whether we are a professional or students like you who are new to this field, this webinar will certainly provide valuable insights as how the role of pharmacist is transforming and what the future is holding for you. So with that note, I once again welcome our speaker, Dr. Manjula Devi Madam, for accepting our invitation, and all the other participants. And I also would like to thank the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. P. Geeta Madam, Dr. Srija Madam, and all the departmental faculty members for arranging this webinar. With that note, I thank you once again and wish you a very good learning experience today. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. It's my pleasure to introduce Dr. P. Geeta Ma'am, Head of the Department of Pharmacy Practice, who will be introducing our esteemed speaker for today's session.
Thank you, ma'am. A warm welcome to one and all present here. I would like to introduce Dr. Manjula Devi AS, who is currently working as an Associate Professor in the Department of Pharmacy Practice, College of Pharmacy, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Coimbatore. She has completed B.Pharm, M.Pharm, PhD from College of Pharmacy, Sri Ramakrishna Institute of Paramedical Sciences, Coimbatore, affiliated to the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University, Chennai. Madam is the first rank holder in both B.Pharm and M.Pharm, and she is the recipient of the Yellappa Rengammal Gold Medal Award for Academic Excellence. She is also the recipient of the Tamil Nadu Pharmaceutical Sciences Welfare Trust Scholarship Award for 12 projects guided in M.Pharm and PharmD. Madam has 28 years of experience in teaching and guided 80 projects for M.Pharm and PharmD. Madam has 52 research publications to her credit in various national and international journals, presented more than 50 papers, and served as a resource person during various conferences, including IPA certificate course on best practice in pharmacy management, train the trainers program in patient counseling by IPA, and continuing education of pharmacists and nursing education programs on safe medication practices. Her areas of interest include medication safety, pharmacovigilance, materiovigilance, and drug dosage calculations. Madam is the life member of All India Pharmacy Teachers Association and Kerala Pharmacy Graduates Association. So once again, I welcome you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
can we start the seminar? I'll just share my presentation. And before beginning the presentation, thank you, madam, for introducing me. A warm good morning to one and all assembled here. A most respected principal of Dr. MGR Educational Research Institute, Faculty of Pharmacy, Professor Dr. N. Harikrishnan sir, Vice Principal Dr. S. Nandakumar, Head of the Department of Pharmacy Practice, Dr. P. Geeta, Organizing Secretary, Dr. Sreeja, Professor of Pharmacy Practice, host for this webinar, Dr. Abhirami S., other faculty members who have joined, and dearmost students. At the outset, I wish to thank the institution and the organizers for giving me this great opportunity to be a part of this PharmaEdge webinar organized by the Department of Pharmacy Practice. So the topic of my presentation will be the evolving role of pharmacist in healthcare, essential skills for a successful career. So with your permission, let me share my screen. Madam, is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Whether the students can interact or they will not be able to interact here. Madam, are the students are also in the platform or whether they
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Actually, the students are in the platform. Like we are projecting them in the whiteboard.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So they'll be able to interact, right?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, let's start, ma'am. So the topic once again, the evolving role of pharmacist in healthcare, essential skills for successful career. So from the topic itself, we should know that we will be thinking in two directions. One is, what are the evolving roles of pharmacist in healthcare? And second is, what are the essential skills we have to develop in order to be successful in our career? So as we all know, we have direct roles in healthcare as well as indirect roles. Direct roles, it is very obvious, it is the clinical pharmacy services which we do in the hospital for a direct patient care services. Indirectly, all the pharmacists contribute towards a healthcare system, either through formulation development or health technology or clinical research, regulatory, public health services, sales and marketing, or many, many more opportunities are there. So either we contribute directly at the patient care services or indirectly, anyway, it is reaching the patient. So I just want the imagination of all our students regarding the journey of a patient in a hospital. What is your interpretation from this image which is given here? I hope you imagine that the patient is starting his journey in the hospital and the journey of the patient can be like the journey of a person through an ocean. It's like an Atlantic Ocean where a lot of icebergs are also there. So anytime a patient can be hit by the iceberg during the journey through a hospital. I hope this is the guess you all also had like me. So I just give you one small question where I wish if you can tell me the correct answer for this. What I project here is a doctor, image of doctor, two same images, but there are differences. Let's see who will identify the differences. I could identify 4 differences. Maybe our students will identify more differences. What is the first difference? Could you please identify? Anybody? But I'm not sure whether you will be able to communicate here. At least you can communicate through sir or madam. what is the difference between these two images? What are the differences? How many differences you can identify? Madam, will they be able to communicate?
The stethoscope is not available, ma'am.
Okay, good. Any other? Who's answering this? I hope a student is answering. Any other?
Difference in pocket, ma'am.
Difference in the pocket. Very good. Any other? Hair?
Ma'am, in the hair.
Hair, what is the difference? I could see any difference.
Right, left side of the hair does not have the crease.
Okay, fine. Then any other? Still, I can't accept that because I did not understand what it is. Any other? One more difference, two more differences I found out. You also try. It's very, very difficult to identify the lacunae. It's very difficult. Why this image?
Coat pocket, we couldn't find margin.
Yeah, that was told by somebody else already. Any other? Two more differences I got. Any other?
Coat buttons are not visible.
Very good. These buttons are not visible in this image. Then one more, please try. Okay, let us not waste time. It is in the shoes. In the shoes, this border is not here. There is no border here. So why this image here in this presentation is we have to remember that even in a good settings, even in a very good hospital also, there are problems where there is drug related issues which can't be identified with one easily we can't identify. It will be there. There are hidden problems everywhere which nobody, even the healthcare provider, may not be able to visualize that. Like that, so many problems are also there. Actually, our healthcare system is advancing very fast. So many technologies, it's very much advancing fast. At the same time, there are healthcare related issues also, especially drug related issues also. So, what is the ultimate aim is adding one more layer here, pharmaceutical care. Actually, for a patient who is in the hospital, he is receiving the first layer of care, that is the medical care, then the nursing care, but pharmaceutical care also should be added so that the patient will receive still safer therapy. That is what we expect. Even you or me or any of us or any of our relatives getting admitted in a hospital, this is our expectation that there should be safety, drug safety. A patient should come out safely. So, pharmacist presence is required everywhere, not only in the prescription review, but right from the patient's admission till he is out from the hospital, you are with the patient and you are with the team, healthcare members, and you are with the prescription. Though we don't want to write, we don't have the right to prescribe, and it is not possible also. We don't have the right to diagnose. All those will be taken care of by the doctor. We should not interfere with their duty. The duty of a doctor is entirely different from the duty of a nurse. The duty of a doctor and nurse is entirely different from duty of pharmacist. So actually we have well-defined responsibilities without touching the other part, without overlapping on the duty of doctors or nurse. We should be able to provide good care for the patient at the same time aligning with the services given by the doctor. So this is the ultimate aim for which we have to develop certain skills. Skills are necessary. The first responsibility should start from patient medication history interview. When the patient is admitted in the hospital, we should go near the patient, conduct an interview either with the patient or with his caregivers. We have to show our presence. Anyway, doctor and nurse will interview the patient, but our interview with the patient is very important because many medication related issues from the previous history, which is left out, which is not identified, can be identified easily if we can talk to them. We can also find out in the prescription whether any untreated condition is there or drug duplication is there. And we can find out what is the problem with the patient so that we can tailor our patient care services towards the need of the patient. Every patient will have different need with respect to healthcare. So we can identify that and customize the provision of our pharmaceutical care accordingly. So all these information we can ask them their OTC medication, what they're taking, any OTC medication, or whether any other self-medication, how is their medication behavior itself, medication adherence behavior, how it is. What about their social habits, drug allergies, the patient's demographics, any alternative medicine there. So many questions we can prepare in advance. We can go through their file before itself and go to them, talk to them, and try to develop a good relationship. This is the first stage and the best place where we can develop good relationship with the patient, which is very important because until the patient is discharged from the hospital, he should be waiting for you also. Then go through the patient's prescription for any potential drug interaction. I am not here to teach you in detail about any particular pharmaceutical care service, but generally we will have an overview how a PharmD or how an M-Pharm should make up their mind to give the best care for the patient. So understand that in most of the prescription, there are drug-drug interactions, and some of the interactions are potential interactions, which should never be there as a combination. So what possible remedy can be done that we have to do. So immediately before the drug reaches the patient, we have to do screening of the prescription for drug-drug interaction. And we should also think, because now you know your patient is admitted, you finished your interview, you have reviewed their prescription, you should also think whether the administered drugs are compatible or not, whether they are compatible or not, because we only know the pharmaceutical properties of medications. Only a pharmacist knows in depth about pharmaceutical properties of medications. Some drugs can react when given together. And this is very important when the patient is receiving multiple medications. Where do we see multiple medications? In the intensive care units. In the intensive care unit, it is unavoidable. Many number of medications are given at the same time. So they can react. And not only in ICU, in other departments also, multiple medications are given. Some of them can react because when they are given through the Y site, this is the Y site, you can see the Y site here. So two drugs may be coming through the two different lines. They can meet here and a reactant product can be, a precipitate can enter into a patient's bloodstream. And if the precipitate formed is insoluble, then it can go and block the vital organs. So we can see the precipitate here. It can go and block it. I'm not saying that always it is happening, rarely, but we only have to be very careful to avoid that. It should never happen. It should never enter into patient's body because it is very harmful. N number of drugs examples are there, which are very commonly given, which has to be prevented. Co-administration has to be prevented or some other measures has to be taken. So a pharmacist's mind should be applied. Nurse will not know, doctor will not know because in their curriculum it is not there. Incompatibility is not there. So we have to take a special care whether it is compatible or incompatible. For one example I have given here for incompatibility, which is very common error happening is due to normal saline, which is used for preparing amphotericin B liposomal emulsion. This one, no? And even during COVID time, when the patient started getting fungal infection, this drug was very commonly given, amphotericin B liposomal emulsion. Actually, for most of the drugs, normal saline, we all know that. Normal saline is only very commonly used as a solvent for most of the drugs. But for this drug, normal saline should not be used. But casually, because it is very commonly used, nurses will have the tendency to prepare this drug also using normal saline. But it should not happen. So this is one typical example where we should be alert. So like that, n number of examples are there. We have to know about that, but this is not the time for knowing the details about incompatibility, but you have to know that there is a problem, IV incompatibility, which if the patient is receiving incompatible precipitates in the blood, then it can be very harmful for the patient. Then you should also look into the preparation, how they are preparing the medication. Many drug preparations require multiple steps. First, initial reconstitution in a small volume solvent, and then it is administered in a larger volume. So small initial reconstitution, then dilution. Like that, there are many drugs. Initial reconstitution in a smaller volume, then reconstitution in a different diluent into a larger volume and administration. So we have to see to that the second one doesn't go wrong. First one, because it is a small volume, it will come along with the vial itself. It will come along with the vial itself. But the second one, when they choose, they should choose the correct diluent. So that we have to be very careful. It should not go wrong. So when a pharmacist is in the ward, when you people, healthcare professionals are in the ward, you should also think not only about the medication history conducted, not only about the patient's medication adherence behavior, not only about the potential drug-drug interaction, but also about whether the diluent here is correct, whether the dilution is correct, whether the rate, the drips falling, no, that should go correctly. There is a recommendation. There is a standard recommendation for every drug. So that recommendation should be followed in the gravity site when the drips are coming here. Or if it is a pump, like ICU, you will see infusion pump, even the pump rate. Everything, there is a standard recommendation. If the rate is increasing or if the concentration is going wrong, it can cause adverse drug reaction. That is why many adverse drug reactions are preventable. If you work on time, it is preventable. So all these drugs, very commonly given drugs, if you carefully look at the dilution, you may see a lot of errors. So you must be an expert in every drug which is prescribed for your patients. Rate also, pump rate or drip rate. For every drug, there is a recommended rate. Calcium gluconate should not exceed 200 mg per hour. Fluconazole should not exceed 200 mg per hour. Lorazepam, not more than 2 mg per minute. Sodium valproate, it should not exceed 220 mg per minute. Vitamin K, not more than 1 mg per minute. So who will assure whether our patient is receiving the correct rate or not? Nobody is there. If the pharmacist is not there, nobody is there to assure that the patient is receiving the medication in the correct rate. If the rate is going wrong, the drug may reach the blood circulation very fast. That can react, that can cause new problem for our patients. So even you should be knowing how to convert the drip rate into dosing rate. So many calculations are there. We can see that in another session definitely. And even compound rating is there. Compound rate is there. Not only gravity set, you will see the normal rate. Rate is adjusted. But for high risk medications, we say it as compound rate. It is prescribed as this many mg per kg per day or mg per kg per minute, like that. So it should be more accurate. For high risk medication, the dosing rate should be adjusted very accurately. So that accuracy ensuring is your responsibility. We don't have to touch the devices. We should not be touching the devices. It is not our duty at all. But we have to go there and verify whether the drug is correct, whether the diluent is correct, whether the dilution is correct, whether the rate is correct. All these are to ensure safety for your patient. These are, with my experience, what are the high-risk medication I have seen: noradrenaline, adrenaline, dopamine, dobutamine, digoxin, digitoxin, amiodarone. So these are some examples for most commonly used high-risk medication where even you should be alert. They are known as high-risk medication or high-alert medication. In case of these medications, even we should be more alert. The moment you are getting a high-risk medication prescription, even you should become very alert. And not only that, this is the problem, real problem teachers may face. Teachers will call you, but students don't like to learn calculations, to do calculations. But later stage, they will realize the importance of drug dose calculations. So don't run away, don't sleep, don't struggle, but you have to practice simple and advanced dosage calculations with which you can shine really in your field. Plus high-risk medications, there are more than 22 categories of high-risk medications. Each high-risk medication itself, so much is there to discuss. So much is there to discuss and learn. If you just take heparin alone, its availability is in n number of units. It starts from 100 USP units per ml to 50,000 USP units per ml. So the available strength is different. Strength is different. So you should know for your patient what strength is used and whether they have used the correct vial choice, whether the syringe capacity is proper. Because if the measurement goes wrong, even by 0.1 unit, the high risk medication can cause serious problems, very serious problems. So you should be very alert when you get a prescription of high risk medications. Okay. And stability of drugs. N number of drugs are not stable after their dilution. So, and the nurses, they will not be much aware about the stability of drugs because it is a pharmaceutical part. They have always questions, always doubts about stability of drugs. So you should be telling them how long they can store. Hope I'm audible. Madam, hope I'm audible. Hello. Hello. Am I audible? Audible. Okay. Thank you. So there are many drugs which will show stability issues, like warfarin undergoes rapid hydrolysis. So for many drugs, after dilution, how long they store is important. And for lipid drugs, many drugs are coming in emulsion form. For example, total parenteral nutrition. Check very carefully whether there is any creaming, coalescence, or breaking. These should never enter into the bloodstream of the patient. Then a number of drugs are photosensitive drugs, highly photosensitive drugs like fluoroquinolones. In fluoroquinolone itself, lomifloxacin is the highest drug with the highest photosensitivity. And tetracyclines, doxycycline, very photosensitive. And sulfonamides, diuretics like furosemide, linezolid, isoprenaline, sodium nitroprusside, amphotericin. And there are for many highly photosensitive drugs, even during the administration, it should be protected. It should be covered with a paper, aluminum foil, or a specific item which can be purchased, thin paper, brown paper. So during administration also, they should be protected. That much they are photosensitive. So these are all pharmaceutical properties of drugs. Ultimately, we are going to become drug expert. A PharmD or MPharm pharmacology students are going to become drug expert. So you should know about the pharmaceutical properties of every drug. Then your patient is still in the hospital. You have to communicate with the patient every day. How are you? Is there any issues? After receiving yesterday's drug, are you fine? You have to follow it up and catch or detect any ADRs, any suspected ADR. For most of the drug, you will come across in the literature adverse drug reaction. And if you watch your patients closely, they will start telling you their problems after taking the drug. So you should know the incidence. If you know from Lexicomp or Micromedics, the incidence of the ADR caused by that particular drug, then you will be able to watch your patient, monitor your patient very closely. So already itself, you should know, try to learn various adverse drug reactions caused by commonly used drugs. If you learn for at least 100 to 150 drugs or maximum 200 drugs, I think that will be sufficient. You should know which are the most commonly prescribed drugs in your hospital. And for those drugs, what is the common and serious ADRs? Common and serious ADRs. Those lists, if you have, if you're an expert in that, then it will be very easy for you to save your patient. The moment they start showing some symptoms, you will be able to protect them. Not only whatever we have discussed so far, n number of roles are there for a pharmacist in the hospital for your patient, for healthcare, total parental nutrition, then prescription auditing, drug and poison information, antibiotic stewardship program, lookalike, sound-alike drugs, health screening activities, calculation of displacement values in the preparation of drugs. That's you have to consider the displacement values. That's again a pharmaceutical property. Pediatric drug dose calculations, very important. Why this is very important? Because the available strength is different. Available strength is very much different from prescribed drug. Drug requirement, dose requirement for the pediatric patient is small, whereas the available strength is large. So you have to be very aware of the pediatric dose calculations, then dilutions, rate calculations, and all that. Why I am stressing on calculations here is that will take you somewhere very high. If you want to practice high level practice, see, our expectation should match with or what we are doing actually should match with the standard requirement. The pharmacy practice should happen like how it should happen. So whatever services you do for your patient, if you want to gain more respect from the other team members, from doctors, nurses, and from every healthcare member, from the hospital, if you expect that dignity, if you expect a respectful treatment, if you think that you should be valued, then the key point is you should be good in dose calculations, dilution calculations. These are the areas where the mistakes are happening n number of times. So the moment they understand that you are watching, you are repeatedly visiting, you are doing it, then everybody will be giving you adequate respect. But the way you treat them should be very important. The moment you find an error, how you treat them is very important. You have to treat them properly, be very friendly, be helpful. Just because we know, we shouldn't dominate, we should be very helpful. We should be very helpful for the entire hospital, the nurses, doctors, and for everybody. So try to learn this and be an important person in the healthcare team. Okay. And finally, our patient is getting discharged here. Our frustrated patient, he needs so many guidance at the time of discharge. Okay, it's not the discharge process. The discharge process, the hospital will take care. But you only should have to look at the patient. Look at the patient, understand his stress level, psychology, and give them adequate information about the drug, for which you should be a drug expert. If we are not a drug expert, we will not be able to give them specific drug information. So make them comfortable first and give them information like what is the purpose of, take the discharge medications in the hand, show them this is the medication, this is the purpose, this is how you should be using it, when to use, how to use, how long to use, how to store the medication, and what you shouldn't be doing when you are taking this medication, and what and all you should be monitoring, when you should come back. Everything, they should make them very clear. Especially geriatric patients, they will have so many doubts about the medication. And please send them with a full confidence they can go home and start the medication. They will be struggling. Once they reach home to start the medication as per the new prescription, they will be struggling, where you should be very helpful for them in this situation, that is during the discharge. And when you discharge the medication through a dispensing counter, then try to convert. You can provide information through the smallest window, but that is actually not sufficient. So every hospital, it is ideal if you have a patient counseling center. And you should be it's an art of counseling. Counseling is an art, and you should be able to enjoy counseling, for which you should already prepare tools. Tools necessary to provide counseling should be ready with you, so that you will not have any stress. Easily you will be able to provide counseling whenever the patient comes to you. And suppose if a patient comes for paracetamol, imagine 3 different categories of patients are coming. One is child, mother of a child. Second is a patient who's also taking phenytoin for his convulsions. And third is a normal adult patient who's going to receive 650 mg paracetamol. I'm not going to explain all the counseling points here, but you should be remembering that the counseling you are providing to a pediatric patient's parents is very tailored to their needs. It should be customized to their needs. And when you give it to the patient who's taking phenytoin plus paracetamol, it should be customized to their need. So it should be tailored. Patient counseling should be tailored to the needs of patient. That is a big challenge for us. We should enjoy counseling and we should perform. If it is a pediatric patient, definitely you should be telling them how much to give, how much to give. This itself is a half-day work to train the students how much to give paracetamol. And tell them after 6 hours only, and do not give more than 4 doses in 24 hours, because we are very sensitive, right? And not more than 3 days without consulting doctor. And check all the labels of other medicines also, because many medicines contain paracetamol. Paracetamol is injurious to liver, and use only the dosing device comes along. There is a cap which comes with the bottle, and don't use any other spoon or household items like spoon, tablespoon and all, because very accurate dosing is important for pediatric patients. For paracetamol, shake the bottle well and take as much as fluids possible, because in fever you will have dehydration. Plus when you take paracetamol, paracetamol will also cause dehydration. So giving adequate fluid is important for you, and about the storage. But when the adult patient is coming to you, you have to give necessary points. What is required for it? The dose, and not to exceed 4 grams per day. Maximum 3 grams ideal, but maximum not to exceed 4 grams per day. And avoid alcohol while taking this drug. So as much as necessary points should be given to the patient. Plus tell him it can cause, because these two drugs are combined, it should not be taken at the same time. It should be separated. And even you should monitor your liver function. And if you experience any nausea, vomiting, hypothermia, or extreme tiredness, reduced urine output, yellowing of skin and eyes. If you experience any such problem, come back to the doctor. So that warning also you should be tailored. Patient counseling should be tailored to the needs of the patient. Okay. And one more point, very, very important for us, we should be very, very careful about the dose. We are drug experts. We should remember the dose of every drug. And it is important when the drugs are being prescribed for the special population like obese patients, pediatrics, pregnant and lactating women, geriatrics, patients with organ dysfunction, kidney dysfunction, liver dysfunction, patients undergoing dialysis. Everything is a separate topic to be discussed, and so that you will become drug expert. You can try to go through the textbooks or lexicon or micromedics and learn the drug dosing in special population. And it's not over. Not only our work is related to drugs, our works are in connection with the devices also, because now all the devices, medical devices in India are also regulated as drugs. All the medical devices are also regulated as drugs. And we see in the hospital, for a hospitalized patient, right from very simple devices like surgical gloves or switches or adhesives, thermometer, catheter, syringes. These are all simple, to advanced devices like joint replacements, cancer diagnostics, implants, insulin pumps, dialysis machines, scan, MRI scan, CT scan, US ultrasound scan. We are reaching to the highest level now. Many digital health technologies, 3D printing devices, smart implants, many devices are becoming smart now. Smart implants, smart insulin pumps. That means what? Smart means what? It's connected devices. Gene eluting stents, very, very advanced devices we are seeing in many hospitals, robotic surgical devices. So why this is also coming under our control now? Because they all are regulated as drugs. They all are regulated as drugs now. Very interesting device-related adverse reactions you can see. Some examples, just for example, I'm presenting here. This is one electrode. Electrode will be used during surgery. During surgery, they have to use some electrodes. So, hope I'm audible. Madam, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, thank you. So, here during surgery, some electrodes are used, and that electrode, there are some report. One electrode caused or few electrodes caused third-degree burns in patient. That is, through the electrode, the current should come back, go back. It should come, do the surgery. At the same time, current should flow back also. But in some devices, it caused burns for the third-degree burns for the patient. Then incorrect bolus dose of insulin due to software error in the phone, Android phone app has to be downloaded, and insulin dose that is the smart bolus calculator. In that software, smart bolus calculator is there, but the smart bolus calculator was not reading point. So if the decimal point is given without a leading zero, it can't read that as a decimal point. So if 0.1, if the patient is entering as I want 0.1 unit of insulin, it will read as 1. Or if he is writing as 0.10, it will read as 10. So multiple times of errors can happen in such a. That is why health-related apps should be updated. Whenever the update is coming, then it was identified. The software error was identified by the company, and they have updated the software. So all the patients who have downloaded were also asked to update the software. Then it was reading it properly. So like that. Another interesting medical device related adverse event was robotically assisted surgical device started unintended movement of the hand of the laparoscopic device. So the laparoscopic device started moving unintendedly. Okay, because it was a robotically assisted surgical device. And incomplete drug delivery due to software error in syringe pump. Like this, you can see plenty of examples in the CDSU website, FDA website. Everywhere you can get a lot of examples. And today we are in the world of implants. There's a huge market. Whole body from top to bottom now, implants are available. We are all aware of that. But the safety of all medical devices, right from simple switches to all advanced devices, safety responsibility is for us also, not only the doctor, not only nurse, not only the biomedical engineer, not only the clinical engineer, but most important responsibility is for the pharmacist. So we should know, we should be a device expert also, because it is a huge market today. Okay, and we are moving to the highest level now, as I already mentioned. Many devices are now AI enabled, ML enabled, machine learning enabled, AI enabled medical devices, smart medical devices, 3D printed medical devices, surgical robots, wearable medical devices, Internet of medical things. So already the softwares are dominating. Softwares are going to dominate as medical devices. They are considered as medical devices when they are used as a part of diagnosis, monitoring, or treatment. Wherever software is used for that purpose, if it is used for diagnostic purpose or treatment purpose or monitoring purpose, they are considered as medical devices only. So if you go to CDSU website, MBPI website, you will get a list of all the devices. Okay, so we have a well-structured material vigilance program of India. It's functioning so well where we can report all the data. And this is what we are doing. Even yesterday, we could report a device-related adverse reaction. We have in our hospital, in Sri Ramakrishna Hospital, under pharmacy practice department, we have already well-established pharmacovigilance center and material vigilance center, plus all other services like patient counseling service, drug information, everything is functioning properly. So this is how the National Coordination Center will receive the report, and CDSEO from the headquarters, they are the national regulator. CDSEO is the regulator. This is the National Coordination Center. That is, if it is not clear, I will read it out. Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission. Indian Pharmacopoeia Commission is the National Coordination Center, and you also have a National Collaboration Center. National Collaboration Center, that is in Trivandrum. Sri Chitra Tirunal Institute of Medical Sciences and Technology. They are the National Collaboration Center. Like this, powerful committees are there in between, and they will screen all the reports, and for them we are sending. Who's sending? The manufacturer. From here, medical device industry will send. Even the healthcare professionals, the clinical pharmacists, clinical pharmacologists, doctors, nurses, everybody can send. So from here, we will be sending to our AMC or MDMC. We have a medical device monitoring center along with our material pharmacovigilance center. So we call it as material vigilance center. So the material vigilance center will receive the report and we send it to the National Collaboration Center. And finally, our one of the main barrier, even though our students learn all the activities, all the possible activities, even though they are very good in all the activities, the hurdle they mainly face is professional communication. How to communicate with the doctor or nurse. That is the main barrier even now students are facing. But what is the goal? We can't be away. We have to be a team member. We have to be a team member. Okay. So to prepare ourselves for that, we have to be very actively participating in all pharmacy practice activities, and wherever the students are given with the opportunities to present seminars, journal clubs, conferences, ward rounds, everywhere you should be active and you should be interacting with people. Ultimate goal is one day you will become a team leader. You have to talk to different people and communicate effectively. So this is the concept, WHO concept of 9-star pharmacist. A pharmacist, a healthcare professional will be a 9-star pharmacist. He will be a leader. He will be a caregiver. He will be a decision maker, communicator. Everything is possible only when you have certain skills. Especially you should have critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, decision making skills, calculation skills, very important, and communication skills, teaching skills, interpersonal skills. If you don't develop skills, subject alone will never help us. Subject knowledge alone will never help us. We have to develop skills also parallelly. So many skills I told here, but what is the number one skill required is calculation skill and interpersonal skills. Calculation skills, interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills, very important in pharmacy practice, PharmD, pharmacology, because you will be interacting with n number of other healthcare professionals. And the communication and teaching skills. All these are the number one skills which is very essential. And not only that, when you are sharp in those skills, it should not affect another person. So equally important is bioethics. There are 23 principles, bioethics principles for healthcare professionals, of which for a practicing pharmacist, you have to give most importance to human dignity and giving respect to human dignity and human rights, because you will be identifying n number of medication errors. You will have to do the intervention. You have to communicate with other healthcare members. It's a very sensitive area, very emotional area. So you have to have the skill also. You have to treat them properly. So giving respect to the person to whom we speak generally always is also very important. And Article 4, it says benefit and harm. Do the intervention only if it is important for the patient. If it will do benefit for the patient and no harm, do no harm. That's the principle. That's what the principle says. And Article 13 says you have to show some solidarity and cooperation. That means wherever we are, if it is, let it be a hospital or wherever we are, it's important. We have to show cooperation and to the institutional policies and procedures. We should never put our hospital down. So ultimately, not only the knowledge, what is outcome? Outcome is quality service. Expectation is quality service. for which not only knowledge, but you have to develop your skill. And you should possess the correct attitude and ethical principles should be followed in pharmacy practice. So the ultimate goal is our students, when they become a healthcare member, they should be one among the team. You should be one among the team. Never practice independently. Never practice independently. That is a failure model. That is a failure model. You should now itself start communicating effectively. Think critically, identify problems, take decisions, try to resolve problems, manage situations, be a leader. Think always that you are a leader and try to educate other healthcare members in an acceptable manner. Okay, so this is what the frame which should come to our mind. It's not only medical care, it's not only nursing care. Every hospital, every patient, every ward, every bed should receive pharmaceutical care also, and for which you need a specialized training, focused training, workshops. You wherever possible, you please attend workshops on pharmacovigilance, materiovigilance, dose adjustments in special population, drug dilutions and IV flow rate calculations, IV incompatibility, drug-drug interactions, stability and storage of medicines, medication error monitoring, drug and device counseling, therapeutic drug monitoring, high-risk medications, bioethics, and at last, especially for teachers, is the pedagogical approaches. The pedagogical approaches. So we have to take specialized training. Every student, every faculty should have a focused training on all these topics. On all these topics. Plus, especially as teachers, we should also develop the knowledge on pedagogical approaches in pharmacy practice because we have to infuse various topics to our students' mind through different methods. We should know. Actually, these are the, if it is patient counseling, we will be teaching them communication skills, medication history interview, drug disease counseling, drug counseling, fix some pattern. Or if it is a drug-drug interaction studies, we want to teach them about interactions. We will teach them drug-drug interaction, drug-food interaction, and safer alternatives. But what is hidden here is what is not coming out here is our pedagogical approaches. For teaching them every topic, different pedagogical approaches should be followed so that it will be enjoyable. Teaching will become enjoyable process. And something which is very common for PharmD as well as MPharm pharmacology is the broad area, the growing area, ever-growing area, clinical research. Because clinical research is giving a lot of opportunities today that you all already aware. These are all the different positions, different job positions. Once you finish your PharmD or MPharm pharmacology or regulatory affairs, you will be placed as a clinical trial monitor. We have a number of students working in these designations: clinical trial monitor, clinical research associate, clinical guidelines coordinator, clinical trial project manager, clinical trial drug safety associate, clinical data monitor, clinical investigator, principal investigator, all these. Or pharmacovigilance data entry manager, pharmacovigilance scientist, senior pharmacovigilance associate, associate director of pharmacovigilance department, pharmacovigilance regional head, quality manager, product safety manager, drug safety and medical information specialist, medical safety officer, senior medical advisor, then regulatory project manager, regulatory affairs manager, regulatory affairs associate, clinical director of R&D, vice president of clinical development, vice president of medical. So the growth potential is very, very high. Once you complete your PharmD or pharmacology or regulatory affairs, or if you are interested, any department people, those who are specializing in any department can take up their courses, like certification courses. A lot of certification courses are available. I'll be showing that. And in India, if you go to the clinical trial registry, we will know what are the clinical trials running today. Today, now, what are the clinical trials registered under the Indian clinical registry? The full protocol. Actually, we study about clinical trial protocol in our theory. And maybe for an M.Pharm project, we prepare, or PharmD project, we prepare the protocol. But in detail, if you want to know about these, if you visit the Clinical Trial India website, then you will get the title, Principal Investigator. For that trial, who is the contact person, sponsor, countries of recruitment, study site, ethics committee, approval status, health condition studied, study designs, inclusion and exclusion criteria, randomization method, blinding or masking, target sample size, primary and secondary outcome, phases of the trial, how many phases in that trial, and date of enrollment, duration of the trial, publication policy, everything about the trial you can get. So visit that, try to visit that site. And it is a potential market. It's a potential market in India itself. It was just as 1.8 billion US dollar, valued at 1.8 billion US dollar clinical research. But today, it is 2.5 billion US dollar business, and it is expected to be 3.37 billion US dollar in 2032. So we should know, our students, every student who's attending now should be aware of the top clinical research organizations, contract research organizations globally as well as in India, which will help you a lot to choose your career. Globally, if you see, the top 10 are here. You look at the number of employees. In Covance is a famous one. Even Covance, you can find in Chennai. In Chennai, Covance is there. Cochin is there. In major cities, it will be there. Okay. So it has got so many branches, and it is having 75,000, more than 75,000 employees now. Covance, top one. And IQVIA. You'll be knowing many of your seniors, friends, and all working in all these CROs. IQVIA with 86,000 employees, and Icon. So here I'm just giving the names. Icons, Thermo Fisher Scientific, Lonza, Sinus Health, Paraxel, MedPlace, Worldwide Clinical Trials, Elucid. All these are in the world level top 10. Okay. And you have an opportunity everywhere. And see the number of employees. So you are in the right place. I wish to congratulate you people for choosing pharmacy as your career, because you can, huge opportunities are waiting for you. But you should know what is existing, where I should go. You have to take the correct decision. Even in India, we have the key marketplace, n number of more than 100 CROs are there in India. India is one of the world's top supplier for clinical research. Number one are Paraxel International, IQVIA, PRA Health Sciences, Ciro Clinpharm, Clinipace, Icon, Sinus Health, MedPace, GVK Biosciences, Vida Clinical Research, Lambda Therapeutic Research, CliniRx. If you browse, you will find even more than this. A lot of clinical research, contract research organizations are there, plus pharma companies directly, they also involved in clinical research. So huge opportunity is waiting for you if you are a pharmacy person, especially M.Pharm pharmacology and PharmD, plus all regulatory suitics. If you can do your certification courses, anybody can come into this field. But the fundamentals should be updated. Everybody should be updating the fundamentals of ICH GCP guidelines, then USA, the guidelines of regulatory guidelines of USA, UK, Australia, Japan, EU, plus Schedule Y guidelines of clinical trial regulations in India, which came in 2005, and the latest 2019 new drugs and clinical trial rules of India. All these fundamentals we have to update. Any amendment is coming, we should have to update. Plus, these sites we should be regularly visiting. Clinical Trials Registry of India's website, CTRI site. Then job openings, n number of job openings you can see in ICHGCP.net. This is ICHGCP website. There itself, throughout the world, in clinical research, wherever opportunity vacancy is coming, they are placing all in one. A very useful site. Then they provide courses also, training also. ICHGC, this is the site. Plus this is one, last one is a wonderful site, very useful site, which will give you n number of courses related to clinical research. Some important certification courses are here. ICH-GCP certification, Clinical Research Coordinator certification, Pharmacovigilance certification, Clinical Research Associate certification, Clinical Trial Management certification, Principal Investigator certification, Advanced Clinical Research Project Manager certification. And this is very important. Every company is asking for this, people who know the statistical analysis software, because clinical trials involve clinical data management. Huge data has to be managed. For managing data, they need statistics. So they are hunting for people who know statistical analysis software, SAS. So now itself, those who are doing PharmD or MPharm or any other branch can do their certification courses also. Keep it ready so that when you sit for interview, the preference will be high for you. So this is what I just want to share about my ideas and my knowledge to the audience, our students who have assembled here. So sincere thanks to the institution, organizers, and especially to Srija Madam, who has invited me to this webinar. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient listening.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for such wonderful insights. I consider it's my great privilege to propose vote of thanks on behalf of Faculty of Pharmacy to our guest for her invaluable contribution and making this event a resounding success. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to our management founder, Chancellor Dr. A.C. Shanmugam sir, our Honorable President E.R. Thiru ACS Arun Kumar sir, Honorable Secretary Thiru A. Ravikumar sir, and our Vice Chancellor Dr. Geeta Lakshmi ma'am for her constant motivation, guidance, and rendering us with all the possible support. Finally, I would like to express our gratitude to our principal, Dr. N. Harikrishnan sir, for his guidance, encouragement, and unwavering support throughout the planning and execution of the program. And I would like to thank our vice principals for their support. I sincerely thank all the organizers for their effort in organizing today's event in a successful manner. Thank you all. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.